Hello everyone, in today's video I'll be breaking down my philosophy of spawn fighting from a pure fundamental standpoint. What that means is I'll be giving you as broad an explanation as possible so that no matter whether you're dropping Starks or a cabin in the middle of the Southern Alps, you have the intellectual advantage over your opponent. The way I look at it is there are 3 advantages for any spawn fight that you must control to give yourself the best shot to win consistently. These are health, mats, and height. Let's get into the breakdown. Before we explore these 3 aspects of spawn fighting, it is really important to go over the basics. Firstly, ensure your aim is up to standard. Most people lose their spawn fights because they can't track well or hit their pump hard enough on a consistent basis. Put the time into a bit of aim training every day to watch your 30 pumps turned into consistent hundreds along with improved tracking, and as a result, watch your consistency off spawn skyrocket. Some basic in-game apps for this are in the description, and there are multiple aim training apps such as Kovacs and AimGod. Secondly, and most importantly, learn when not to fight at all. This entire video will be based around how to control a fight off spawn properly, but if there is a chance to disengage from a fight that you can't get control over in the first place, you should learn to do so. There are multiple factors that should lead to the decision to either engage or disengage, but in a game like FORTNITE where your opponent can hit a bailout 200 or controller track your head through builds for a quick triple dink, you should always err on the side of caution. If there is interest, I can make a quick video breaking down the thought process that should go through your head in these snap decision high leverage moments, but for now, let's get into the 3 advantages. Health is a very simplified way to explain map control. The idea of map control is very nuanced in FORTNITE, with high ground, building, and randomized loot playing a huge part in how you should control spots and why. However, off spawn the nuance somewhat disappears. It is fairly simple. Control as much loot as possible without landing so close to someone that you're going to force an engagement early. The reason I call this advantage health is for the simple reason that no one can win a fight consistently without active shield and spare shield. The best way to learn map control is to simply do it lots. Using a source such as FORTNITE GG, formerly known as lootlake.info, it can show you where you can possibly look to control as a start point, but from there it is all down to you learning the spot like the back of your hand. Efficiency in looting is important here as well. Never engage without health that you are comfortable fighting on. This is fairly self-explanatory, but it blows my mind seeing how many top tier players engage only to be left with 0 mats 1 minute into the fight. Once again, there is nuance to how many mats may be viable in certain locations, but as a general rule, I don't like anyone I'm live coaching to engage with anything less than 400 to 500 mats. This ties into a very important idea in fighting: patience. Don't feel like you need to rush to engage, even if you know someone is weak. Get the mats you will need to fight anyone in any scenario. Fairly basic tips such as farming furniture, focusing high mat density items, and ensuring your path considers how many mats are available are all extremely important to winning these fights consistently. Height is not a necessity in a mid-game fight, but off spawn, height control will be the make or break a majority of the time. Think of a worst case scenario off spawn. No mats, no shield. Where's the best place to be? On height. From height off spawn, you can generally control the pace of the fight. If you want to disengage, you generally can do so. If you want to engage, it's generally on your terms. Not only this, but from height you can work the opponent's materials down with AR or SMG spray, consequentially giving you a potential material advantage, which we just discussed in advantage 2. From height you control the engagement, and how it continues from there is entirely up to you. Okay, example 1 will be FaZe Dubs. So he lands Fortilla for this cash cup, and essentially what we're going to see from him are 2 examples where controlling materials is basically a deciding factor in what makes a fight hard for him, or what will make him inconsistent in spawn fights in the future. So he is really good at controlling his loot because he obviously knows Fortilla well, so that's controlling health. He's very good at controlling height. He lands at the highest building and he looks to play from there, but he never farms extra furniture. He never goes out of his way to look for high density materials, that sort of thing. So what you'll see here is he tries to get his own material advantage by spraying down the opponent's builds, but he never actually, like I said, went out of his way to ensure that he had enough materials to make this fight comfortable. He's engaging here with 7 builds, and he drops down. Basically just kind of, yeah, awkward fight to be in, and now he's got 0 builds. And this is not a fight that anyone should be comfortable taking consistently. He hits the guy for white, and so he drops down. He tries to get back up, got no materials. But the loot advantage, so the map control, the health advantage that I talked about, wins him that fight simply because he had better health. His height control was good as well, but the big thing to learn from there is just how much easier a fight can be if you have 100 to 200 extra materials. Take the time, get those materials up. Okay, so another perspective on dubs, and we're going to see the same thing happen again. So right off the bat, you'll notice he is very good at knowing where his spawns are, so he's obviously good at map controlling the parts of the map that he needs to get the health advantage at Fortilla. So he does that really well. He knows his spots, gets down, gets the chest. But look at the lack, again, of farming spare materials. So as he rearranges his stuff, he doesn't farm that piece of wood there, which will give you around 8. And I know I'm talking small amounts here, but 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8, you know, that can all add up. He basically bypasses that. He bypasses these pellets here, which as I'm sure everyone who plays Fortnite knows, these are really high density materials. So basically bypasses all that and look to take this fight. He has the health advantage in theory because he's controlled the map well, but he doesn't have enough information at all. As you can see, like straight away off the bat, he looks to control height. He ran up, looked to take height. So he's very good at controlling the fight initially, but I really don't like the way that Dubs looks to get in without controlling a good amount of mats first. So again, he's getting into this fight with 5 builds. He could have farmed the pallet there, that would have given him an extra 80 probably. He could farm this tree here, which would give him probably another 50 to 60. He could win this fight very, very easily and very, very quickly. But what you'll watch here, his aim gets him a really nice initial engagement, hits him for 100, that's really good. This fight should be done and dusted. This fight should be over within the next 10 seconds, but what you'll see is that his lack of materials stops him from being able to continue this advantage that he's got, right? So he's got the health advantage now, he's got the height advantage now, 3 builds, he's not going to hold it. And he's now forced to play poverty on low ground, basically. This becomes a much harder fight than it needs to become, simply because he didn't take 5 seconds to farm a few bits of wood on his way around, okay? Holding those advantages is so important. Knowing how to hold the advantage in your spot is really important. Again, it comes down to basically the fact that Dubs' aim is really fucking good, and he can hit these shots under pressure that other players might not be able to. Some good movement there with the chili, and then 110 to the head. So he's basically saved there by the fact that his aim was really good initially for the 100 pump shot, and then secondly there for that next one. Don't rely on your aim. Control your advantages by knowing your spot well and by knowing what advantages you need to hold. Health, mats, and height. As you can see here, health and height were almost not enough. He needed to have the mats as well to make this consistent.